So I just listened to 10 minutes, the opening 10 minutes of Brian Swimme, a professor at my university's lecture about the relation between Teilhard de Chardin, and Alfred North Whitehead. That's Whitehead's book. Yeah, you can't see that. It's Adventures of Ideas, and Teilhard's the Human Phenomenon. That's a bad translation. Um, and he said, he gave us a sense of each thinker, and of Teilhard he said that his basic conception of the universe was that it was a cosmogenesis. It was a developing being, and Teilhard, understood himself as a developing being within this developing being. And for Whitehead, he said, that without an experiencing subject of some kind, the universe is nothing, 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 bare nothingness. That's all I said so far. So let's listen to the next couple minutes. I haven't heard this yet. Maybe a minute or so, and then we'll see where we are at that point.
In a real sense, a universe is a derivative of relationship.
This is Whitehead he's talking about.
It's truly bizarre.
Can you say more about what that means?
No. Well, no, first of all, I can, yes. Will I? I'm going to try. Okay, I'm going to try. So then when he attempts to say what is it, so experiencing subjects. Okay, we got that. That's the important thing. What's an experiencing subject? And then so he gives the ontogenesis, the development of an experiencing subject. Here's how it goes. It begins as the entire community. Everything. It begins. A subject begins as everything. And then this goes through a process and a sculpting process and a weaving process, a creative process that eventuates in a unique feeling, and that is the self. Begins as everything, goes through this process. His word for the process is concrescence. It's a major idea. His major work is called Process and Reality.
So concrescence is the process of the universe becoming you, to sum up. That's what I took from that. So let's continue.
So he's all about process. So concrescence. The universe is a process by which the vastness becomes the unique particular. Okay? Then what I've just described is true of every being in the universe. See, I've already used that phrase, in the universe? See, I fell right back into modern sensibility. It's true of every being. In other words, it's true of atoms. It's true of oak trees. It's true of dogs. It's true of animals, whales. It's true of flocks of geese. Then he has another phrase here that helps, I think, a little bit. Again, he's trying to give you a sense of what he means by universe. So we have this process of concrescence. It arrives at this unique feeling, and then it perishes. And what does perish mean? It means it moves from being an experiencing subject to an experienced object. For Whitehead, there is subject and object. There isn't for Teilhard. Relationships are always between subjects, centers in relationship. Whitehead's analysis is more complex. I'll just say it again. That the entire community concresses into a unique individual which a unique feeling in an individual, which then perishes and becomes part of every other experiencing subject. So in the perishing, then, the word he uses is the superject. The superject. He's playing with the word subject. So the subject, see, experiences and then becomes superject. And the superject is present in every concressing being. That's his fundamental cosmology. Just to give you a sense of it, just to give you a sense of it, so that it's just to compare it with the modern view. The modern view would be this: that just you are sitting where you are, right, in your feeling the world, and the way in which the modern sensibility works is that light, for instance, is entering into you. The light from Luke. Light from Luke is entering into you, right? And it's forming inside of you an image of Luke, who is out here. Whitehead wants to destroy that way of thinking. Lots of his effort is focused on destroying that way of thinking. So how does he do that? He begins by taking the insights from quantum physics, and he has his own particular interpretation. Quantum physics destroyed classical physics, but the actual interpretation of quantum physics that will actually be dominant, say, 3 centuries from now, who knows? We don't really know. Whitehead has his own particular interpretation, and it's the following: that Luke is this vast community of beings, all of whom are concressing and then perishing. Concressing and then perishing. Each one of them beginning with the entire community, shaped into a very particular form, and then releasing itself into the entire community. So for Whitehead, the reality of Luke here is this pulsing reality. It's just pulsing in and out of existence, just as we've discovered happens at the level of elementary particles. That's Whitehead's conception. But then the pulsing, all right, isn't just taking place here. It's the entire universe pulsing forth as Luke and then released into the rest of the universe. So in Whitehead's thinking, your experience of Luke is actually Luke.
So I let that play a lot longer because I was kind of transfixed by what it was saying. I mean, you are the universe concressing in this moment, so it's the universe recapitulating itself within itself, and your body is billions, trillions, uncountable numbers of smaller concrescences pulsing into and out of existence. That's what's making up your body. I mean, cells, and the cells are made of molecules, and the molecules are made of atoms, and the atoms are made of protons, neutrons, and electrons, and the protons and neutrons are made of quarks, and the electrons are made of God knows what, waves, pulsations of energy. But for Whitehead, energy is feeling. If efficient causation, mechanical causation, is the agency pushing us from behind, but it's an agency which anticipates a future, which forms ideas and values certain decisions more than others, certain actions more than others, certain future orientations more than others. So it's a universe that feels, and Teilhard agrees. Teilhard sees all energy as somehow psychic, somehow alive.